This is R2D Tech, and for the last couple of weeks I've been testing out the Anker Soundcore Life Q30 noise cancelling headphones, quite a mouthful, and I thought I'd do a quick unboxing and then get on to a review on what it's actually like to use these bad boys. So here's the box. On the back you've got a list of the different features that come with the headphones, but we'll get onto those in the review later on. Inside the box you've got your instruction manual, which I would recommend having a flick through, along with a hard shell case containing the headphones themselves. Now this is a really nice inclusion because it is hard shell, so it will protect the headphones in your rucksack. No, it's not too fancy, it's not leather, but you don't really need that anyway. Now the headphones themselves are nicely folded and packaged away inside this hard shell case with some protective plastic and foam. Nice to see that as well, and you'll see that there's actually quite a bit of flexion on the headphones, which is nice, so you can twist them a bit without them breaking. We'll get onto the build quality in the actual review though. Now there's also some foam which is for comfort, and it is memory foam, and we'll talk more about that later. Now you also get a pouch containing some wiring, including an aux to aux cable, so you can plug your phone directly to the headphones if you want to use them with wire. And you also get the charging cable, but no power brick. So that was the unboxing, pretty nice experience overall, but now let's get into what the actual review is, what it's actually like to use these on a day-to-day basis. When it comes to the build quality, these headphones feel pretty sturdy in the hand, and that's despite the fact that they're made almost entirely of plastic. Yes, usually that would be a pretty big downside for me, but using these headphones pretty extensively, they definitely don't feel cheap, and they don't feel like they're going to break anytime soon. That's partially because of a nice metal support which actually goes over the top of the headphones and adds quite a lot of rigidity. In terms of softer materials, on the top rail you have a nice soft padding underneath, and that allows the headphones to rest on your head quite comfortably and take quite a lot of pressure away from the ears. The ear cups themselves are made from a memory foam material, which is going to be quite useful in providing a good seal around your ears and adapting to your ear shape over time. One big plus with the build is also the mechanism to adjust the headphone dimensions. It's not too stiff, but also not too loose, so you can adjust them perfectly and they should stay in place. Another plus is that the ear cups themselves have a degree of freedom, so they can pivot to match your head shape a bit better, which makes the headphones more comfortable overall. And building on that, the ear cups can actually fold away slightly so that you can put them in the travel case, and that just makes the whole thing more compact if you want to chuck them in your rucksack. Now let's move on to the actual modes you get with these headphones, because they're not just basic. You do get active noise cancellation, passive noise cancellation, and normal mode. Starting with the normal mode, the thing that really surprised me is that the passive noise isolation, i.e. without any form of active cancellation happening, is really good, to the point where you think the active mode might be on sometimes even though it's not. My guess is that that's because of the really good fit that the ear cups have around the ear, especially with that memory foam and then the different degrees of freedom that the ear cups have. So that's really good, but then when you turn the active noise cancellation on, there's an even bigger difference, to the point where most of the ambient sounds around you do get cancelled. My only complaint is that I can still hear talking sometimes, especially if people are talking near me, and also if there's a sudden sound like somebody drops something or hits something on the table, you can still hear that quite easily. What I will say is that despite failing to cancel some specific noises, the headphones do a good job at cancelling general ambient noise, which I guess is the most important thing. It doesn't stop there though. There's actually an app that accompanies these headphones, and on that app you get 3 choices for the active noise cancellation in terms of tuning that. So you can either choose transport or indoor or outdoor. Now, when you put transport on, I find that this is the heaviest cancellation, especially because there's pretty loud noise on like a train, for example. So this is quite aggressive noise cancellation, which isn't to my liking personally, but if you really want to try and cancel as much as possible, that's probably the mode to go for. Outdoor is the next most aggressive cancellation, and then indoor is the one I use the most, where it sort of cancels general noise, but you'll still hear a few things around you. The next mode is transparency mode, which basically uses the headphone's microphones to amplify certain sounds around you, especially talking. This does a good job, so you can still hear talking or traffic around you while listening to your music, and you won't miss anything in that sense, but I found that it was a bit too aggressive for my liking, and so the music would actually get slightly overpowered by the talking, and it would be a bit distracting. But I guess for specific use cases, this can be really useful. Okay, so one thing I'm going to mention, because it is a bit of a downside to these headphones, is that I have received feedback from people around me that when I'm listening to loud songs, especially bass-heavy songs, they can pretty much hear exactly what I'm listening to, which can be a bit of an issue, especially if you're trying to listen to music in a really quiet environment like a library, where that could be quite distracting or annoying for the others. This is a bit of an issue for me, but I found that as long as I'm not listening to music too loud in really quiet environments, people won't really hear what you're listening to. It's more for the specific case where you're listening to, especially a bass-heavy song, quite loud in your ears and you're in a completely silent room, which as a student is quite common because I work in the library a lot, but for most people working in a cafe or something like that, it's not going to be much of an issue. Now, of course, the main thing that you want to know about when buying a pair of headphones is the sound quality, and in my time using these, I've been very impressed with what you're getting for the price. These headphones are clearly bass focused, which I like. It can be a bit too much sometimes, but then in the app you can actually tweak all of this through the equaliser, which is a nice feature to have. The mids and highs are also pretty decent, and again, if you want to tweak any of that, it can be done through the equaliser on the app. So definitely these are a very good sounding pair of headphones, especially for the price point. Of course, if you compare it to a few £100 Sony headphone, it's not going to be as good, but I think you're getting a pretty good deal and you're not going to be disappointed. Moving on, let's talk about some of the I/O that you get with these headphones. So to charge them up, you can use USB-C, which is quite convenient for most people. Also, to switch between modes like ANC, transparency or normal, there's a dedicated button for that, or you can just cover the right ear cup with your hand and it'll do that. There is a slight delay, but definitely not too long. You can plug these headphones in with an aux cable directly into your phone if you have a headphone jack or your laptop. So if they do die, you can always have that option, which is nice. And finally, there's a pretty standard set of buttons for volume up, down, play, pause, and again switching between the different modes. The power button did annoy me slightly because you have to hold it for quite a few seconds to get the headphones to turn on and off, so that's a slight downside, but of course it's something that you'll get used to over time. Now, arguably one of the best features of these headphones is actually the battery life, because you're getting an advertised 40 hours of battery life, which is insane. To put that into perspective, I've been using these headphones for a few weeks and I still haven't charged them yet, which is so convenient. My previous set of headphones would die after a couple of days and I'd always forget to charge them, so having a pair of headphones with a huge or really great battery life like this is very useful, especially if you're out and about a lot and you don't really think about charging them. Another excellent feature is actually the price, because these things are retailing for £80 in the UK or $80 if you're in the US, which is extremely competitive for what you're getting. For that price, you get really good sound quality, pretty impressive noise cancellation, and even just the passive noise cancellation is very impressive. The build quality, even though there's a lot of plastic, it is very sturdy and the mechanisms are quite nice for adjusting the dimensions. There's not much to complain about really, apart from sometimes people being able to hear your music a bit, but it's not the biggest deal in the world, and for the price point, these headphones are an absolute steal in my opinion. For these reasons, I find it quite easy to recommend these headphones to most people. I've certainly enjoyed using them over the past few weeks, and they're going to become my daily driver in terms of headphones now. But yeah, that's my experience. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or if you have any questions as well. And if you did like the video, please give me a thumbs up because it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, then definitely consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the notification bell below.